Hello, dear friends, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our second video in this special series which we are making on how to live in a state of absolute happiness and unconditional love. The title of this second video in this series is called Realizing Your True Nature. When you realize your true nature, then you'll be able to live in this state of unconditional, absolute happiness. So the question which arises here is that what do we mean by realizing your true nature? What is actually your true nature? So you see, to know what your true nature is, we have to understand first of all the planes of existence, right? And then what is our connection with these planes of existence, and then we can do an exercise actually which will directly lead us to looking at the presence of what we call as the Almighty or God, and thus realizing our true nature. So once again, the title of this video is Realizing Your True Nature. So let us look at these different planes of existence. So I would like you to focus as I'm speaking on figure 1. So you see, what we know from our ancient sages and from the spiritual hierarchies and the spiritual world is that the first plane that actually came into existence is known as the first cause or the Adi plane. Adi is a Sanskrit word meaning the first, right? So the Adi plane is actually nothing but a plane of pure light, right? So after the Adi plane, as we are looking at the figure, the second plane that was created is actually known as the Anupadic Plane, right? Basically, the Anupadika is it's a Sanskrit word which means without any vestures or without any clothing. So you see, we will discuss a little bit more about this second plane in our second figure, but let's just keep going with the planes of existence. So the third plane that actually has been created is the plane of spirit or the plane of Atma, right? And this plane of spirit is made up of the material of what we call as divine will. You see, everyone has a divine will, and whatever material this divine will is made of, that is basically the spirit or the Atmic Plane. So then coming down to the next plane is the Buddhic Plane, right? Or the plane of intuition. Now, you see, whatever material this intuition is actually made of, that is basically this Buddhic plane or the plane of intuition. Now, we come further down now, we are climbing down the stair and we come to the next plane. Please focus on this figure 1. This plane is known as the mental plane, right? And this mental plane consists of two parts: upper mental plane or the causal plane, right? And the lower mental plane or the plane of thoughts. So basically the mental plane is nothing but a plane made up of the material of thoughts, whatever is this material of which thoughts are made of, right? Now we are coming more closer to our own physical reality. So the next plane below the mental plane is the astral plane, also known as the plane of emotions, or in Sanskrit they call it Kamana Loka, or the plane or the land of desires. So this is the land of desires, the land of emotions, or the land of feelings, and it is very popularly known as the astral plane, right? And then after the astral plane, we come down to the last plane, which is the physical plane, right? And very closely attached within the physical plane is basically what we call as the etheric plane, right? Or in Sanskrit, this etheric aspect connected with the physical plane is also known as the pranic plane, right? So recapitulating, we have the Adi plane, the plane of light. Then we have the Anupadic plane, means the plane where still no garments like the spirit, intuition, etc. are present. Then there is the plane of spirit, the third plane. Then the fourth plane is the Buddhic plane, or the plane of intuition. And then the fifth plane is the mental plane, right? The upper and the lower mental planes. And then we have the sixth plane, which is the astral plane, or the plane of feelings or desires. And lastly, the seventh one is, which we can all actually relate to, like this physical plane Earth, right? So, and with this physical plane Earth is associated what we call as the etheric plane. So these are the different planes of existence. And now we will, after having got a good grasp of the various planes of existence, now we have to closely look at, moving towards realizing your true nature, because you're not just this physical body. You see, you are far more than just this physical body. You've got feelings, you've got thoughts, you have got intuition. So what is our connection, you see, with these different planes? So we are putting up this second figure. So I would like you to again very closely please look at the second figure. So in this figure, we are actually going to start from the second plane, which is actually the Anupadic plane, right? Now, basically, you see the word monads next to it. So what had actually happened was that, you see, from the original plane, which is the plane of light, it was nothing but pure light. And from there, you see, came down, they say there are about 60 billion human beings or human souls, right? So 60 billion individual sparks of light actually came down from this first plane, the plane of light, into what we call as the Anupadic plane. Now you see, you've got to realize here that, you see, say if I have a glass of water, and then from that glass of water, I take out, say, about 50 drops and put them on a tray or a paper plate. So you see, there is no difference between the water which is there in the glass and those individual drops which I actually took out, right? So similarly, these individual sparks of light are like these drops of water, which are exactly the same light, no difference, like the light in the upper higher plane, or the plane of light, or the Adi plane, right? But all that has happened is now we have come down to the next plane, but we still don't have any garments around us. That is why they have been given the word in Sanskrit as ekank, means by themselves, or in English we call them the monads. So, if you want to know who you really are, you see, we are all actually very pure, and we are actually monadic in nature. We are monads ekang, the unique sparks of divine light or the light of consciousness, right? So now we come down basically to our aura to really understand actually who we are. So you see, the next when we come down to the plane of spirit, everyone has a body which is called the body of spirit or the Atmic body, and this is made up of what we call as divine will, and your Atmic body is connected to the Atmic plane, or your spirit body is connected to the plane of spirit. Okay, continue looking on this figure 2. Now the next body that we have is known as the body of intuition, the intuitive body, or the Buddhic body, and this is made up of nothing but the material of intuition, and this is actually connected to this plane of intuition, right? So now we come down further, right, and we come down to what we have is a mental body. See, all of us actually have a mental body, and this mental body is connected to the mental plane. Now there is an upper mental body, right, which is known as the shining body, right, and then there is a lower mental body which is basically connected with our day-to-day thoughts. So you see, this upper mental body or the shining body, this is the storehouse of all your previous lives and your individual karma. Every time when you reincarnate, a small spark from your shining body or causal body comes down, it forms a mental body, then a astral body, and then it comes into the physical body. It collects all the experiences in the physical plane, then goes back, you see, into its astral body, leads a life there, then it goes into the mental body, it leads another life there, and then it goes back to your causal body, right? This is in brief about the cycle of reincarnation. Anyway, that's not really concerning our discussion in this present video. So everyone has a mental body, and this body is made up of thoughts, whatever the material of thoughts may be, and our mental body is connected with the mental plane. Now, after this, you see, everyone actually lives, we basically live by our emotions. So we have this body called the astral body, or the body of emotions, or the body of feelings. So you see, this astral body or the body of feelings is connected with the astral plane, right? And then we come down to the last one, which is basically the physical body, and along with the physical body is associated the etheric body, right? So the physical body is connected actually to the physical plane. Now, just to give you an idea, let us first recapitulate this figure 2. So you have a physical body connected to the physical plane, which is earth. Then you have got a astral body or a body of feelings, which is connected to the astral plane. Then you have a mental body, which is made up of thoughts. It is connected to the mental plane or the heaven world or whatever you call it. Then you have a body of intuition, which is connected to the intuitive plane or the Buddhic plane. And lastly, you have what you call is the body of spirit. So just to add a little bit more here, you see, the dimensions of the astral plane and the mental plane are huge, massive, compared to how big our physical plane earth is, right? Let's take an example. Say you take your own example. During the course of a day, at least we can easily say that at least let me use the example of that at least 100 feelings will actually pass through you during the course of a day. Of course, you will have many more than 100 feelings. So you see, if there are 7 billion people on earth now, so that means that 7 multiplied by 100, 700 billion feelings pass through every human being when they are awake, right? So you see, the astral plane is 700 billion times bigger than our physical plane, the earth. Similarly, you see, I suppose it's very fair to say that if you look upon yourself, at least 1,000 thoughts will easily pass through you during the course of a single day, right? So if there are, say, 7 billion human beings, then 7 times 1,000, 7,000 billion thoughts pass through, all the human beings during the course of a single day, right? So your mental plane is 7,000 billion times bigger than this physical plane, right? Okay, so just recapitulating what we have actually discussed. So we have discussed about the different planes, and we have discussed about our different bodies associated with them. Now, if you look at this figure 3, this basically actually gives an overview of how we have actually evolved and how we are actually evolving, right? So we came down from the monad, right, to the your Atmic body, and then we came down to your Buddhic body, or the body of intuition, and then we came down to the mental body, right, and then to the astral body, and then we have come down to the physical plane. Now we are gaining the experiences through every lifetime of this lower physical plane, and then gradually over time and over evolution, we are evolving back from the physical to the astral to the mental to the causal, right, to the intuitive or intuition or the Buddhic plane, then to our Atmic or spirit body, and then back to the monad. But then when we reach back, we have collected all these experiences and enriched ourselves. So this is this process of our involution and evolution, right? So now, after having discussed this, we will move on to now figure 4. And I would actually like you to very closely look at this figure 4, right? This figure 4 actually shows our different bodies, which we have actually briefly just discussed. So now look at it. You see, the physical body is there, connected to the physical plane, and with the physical body is associated the etheric body, and then you have got your astral body, right? Please look at this figure. It's fairly clear, and you will not know your true nature, and you will not know who you are, knowing your true nature, which is the very title of this video, unless you familiarize yourself with this figure 4. So with your physical body is connected to the physical plane, right? Then and the etheric body is associated with it. Then you have your next to it is the astral body, or the body of feelings, associated with the astral plane, right? And then the next one is the mental body, right? The lower mental body and the causal body, which is actually connected to the mental plane, right? And then you have got your body of intuition, which is actually connected to the plane of intuition or the Buddhic plane, right? And then lastly, you have got what you call is your body of spirit, or the Atmic body, which is made up of divine will, and this is actually connected to the Atmic body. So the physical body is made up of physical things, the 5 elements, right? The etheric body is made up of ether or prana. Your astral body is made up of emotions or feelings. Your mental body is made up of thoughts, right? Your body of intuition is made up of whatever material intuition is. And last of all, your Atmic body or the body of spirit is made up of divine will. So this summarizes figure 4. Now we are coming almost to the last and the most important part of this particular video. So now I'm going to actually describe to you where actually are these different bodies located. This is very, very important, because here alone are you really going to know who you are, right? So we are putting up this last figure 5, and I'll continue describing this, but I would like you to really focus and please understand this figure 5. Now look at it. Right at the center is the physical body, right? This is your aura. This is who you are. Now, surrounding the physical body, you see almost less than say 1 to 2 centimeters. All around you actually is what we call the etheric body or the pranic body, right? Now, if you were to stretch your hands, it's the video is like that. If you were to stretch your hands, looking again at this figure 1, you see from the center of your nose, if you went 30 centimeters to the right and 30 centimeters to the left, right? So this is total 60 centimeters. All around you is basically what we call the astral body, right? You really have to really understand this, that is your astral body connected to the astral plane. Now, going further away, as we are moving towards your elbow and coming back from your elbow on either side, the left elbow and the right elbow, if I come back 15 centimeters inside, right, then just after your astral body, which is say 30 centimeters to the right and 30 centimeters to the left, so you add those 15 centimeters and you reach your elbow. So these 15 centimeters coming inside towards you from your elbow is your mental body. You see, this mental body surrounds you. It's all around you, right? So that is the mental body or the body of thoughts. Now, moving further from there, when you go from your elbow, right, and say we go right up to where your hand is, so that distance we can say is about 90 centimeters. It might vary from person to person, right? So this 90 centimeters is the body of intuition connected with the intuitive plane. And this actually is, you see, the biggest body width-wise, that we actually possess. Now, after you see the body of intuition, just where your hands are actually starting, say right up to your middle fingertip, say your hand is about say 10 centimeters, approximately. So it can vary according to your height, according to your size, but about 10 centimeters, where your hand is surrounding all around you, like an oval going all around you, is the body of spirit, right? This body of spirit is made up of divine will, right? So once again, recapitulating figure 5, first is your physical body. Less than 1 to 2 centimeters is the etheric body. Then 60 centimeters all around you, 30 centimeters to the left and 30 centimeters to the right, is the astral body, right? Or the body of feelings. Then where your elbow is, if you come about 15 centimeters inside, that is your mental body, right? Connected with the mental plane. Then from your elbow up to your hand, we can say roughly it is about 90 centimeters. That is your causal body, or the body of intuition. And then last of all, you see where your hand is, with your hands stretched, looking at this figure 5, say your hands are about 10 centimeters. So right outside, you see, this is your body of spirit, right? Or the body of divine will, right? So this is basically who you actually are, right? Now we have actually understood the location and the distance of these different bodies. And I would like to just add here that, look, this is your aura. When you stretch your hands and you draw a full like an oval circle or an oval around you, that is where all these different bodies are located, and this is your true nature, right? I mean, you do have a higher nature and a lower nature. Of course, your Atmic body, or the body of spirit, and the body of intuition is your higher nature, and your mental body, astral body, and physical body, this is actually what we call as is your lower nature. But this is the representation, this is who you are, this is your true nature. Now actually I'm going to do an exercise. Please try to bear with me and understand this exercise, and you try this out, because whatever we have discussed so far is not a theory, and I'm actually going to prove it to you, right? Now, you see, all of you are actually sitting there and watching this video. So not only is the video, but everything which is there around, this video, wherever you may be watching it, you can see that the view of everything, of all the objects, is always in front of you. And anyway, at the subtle level, the view of feelings, or the view of thoughts, you see, these are subtle impulses. This is also always within you. The view is never lost, right? The view is always there. Right from childhood until now, the view has actually always been there, right? And we never actually look at this. Hidden in this view, actually, you see, is the reality. This is where you can directly perceive the presence of your true nature, the presence of the flow of light of consciousness, and the presence of God in its fullness, right? So let us actually do this exercise, and you can actually practice it. So here I've got a picture of the sage master Biensa Juno. So the first thing is this, that look, I'm looking at an image, whatever it may be, right? So can you see that how the image, or the image, or this view of the of this particular picture just appears in front of us, right? I mean, you can pick any object which is there in front of you, pick a mobile, pick anything, the view is there. Now look at this very carefully, right? How does the view appear? This is what you've got to look at. You see, what happens is that, the divine will from your body of spirit acts on this divine intuition, which belongs to your Buddhic body, or the body of intuition. So the divine will from the spirit acts on this divine intuition of the causal of the Buddhic body, or the body of intuition. You must really grasp this. You must actually understand this. You see that when the divine will acts on this divine intuition, the light of consciousness flows into you, right? And this is how intuitively, look at it. I'm using the word intuitive, without any thought, without any feeling. You see the images, or the view, right from your childhood until now, and going into the future, right? As you grow older, the view appears in front of you intuitively. And look, there is no thought here, and there is no feeling here, right? So this gives you the proof of the presence of your body of spirit, the Atmic body, and the body of intuition, which is made up of the material of divine intuition, right? And this is always what happens first of all. The first thing is that the view appears in front of you, just like, there is this image. So, okay. So now I ask myself a question, right? The question that I'm asking is, what is this, right? So naturally, what I'm saying is that this is the picture of the great sage, my Rishi, Master Byensa Duno. And the other one is, of course, Sage Ramana. I have a visual image inside my mind. But you see, now, when I say, what am I looking at? And then I say, I'm looking at a picture of the sage Rishi, Master Byensa Duno. Look, this is a thought. First appeared the image, and then I'm saying that this is a picture of the the Rishi, Master Byensa Duno. Then naturally, this is a thought, isn't it? Then the thought comes into you, right? So you see, now your mental body is acting. The thought comes. You see, how do thoughts come into you? They come from your mental body. So first the image appears, then comes the thought. Look at it very carefully, right? This is the proof of what we have been discussing. Now, you see, I'll put another question that do I love or do I like this picture of the Rishi, Master Byensa Duno? Of course, the answer is that he is the one who guided me. And Sage Ramana guided me to, this state of absolute happiness. That's why I'm able to present this video to help my brothers, my sisters, and my friends. Right? You're all dear to me. We are all just one big human family, right? So now, you see, what I'm expressing is that I love this picture. I love this Rishi, Master Byensa Duno. So that is an expression of feeling. You see, where does the feeling come from? The feeling is coming from your astral body. Look at it. You see, look at all the flow. First, you see your spirit acts, your body of intuition acts, intuitively the image appears, right? Then the thought comes, what is this image? And then our emotions flow, whether we like this image or we don't like this image, right? Now, if I were to say that, look, suddenly I'll put, this thing, I'll turn it over, or basically what I will do is that I'll make all this black, or I'll make it completely red. Now, if this is black or red, or even, this is the, the picture of Master Byensa Duno, suddenly if I put a black paper or a red paper here, then will I like it? Of course, the answer is no. Absolutely not. I will not actually like that at all. So you see, look at this. This is an extremely opposite feeling. A liking for this image, if it is covered with a black sheet or a red sheet, I have a disliking for it. So these are again feelings. I'm just giving you this example that these feelings actually are flowing, or these emotions are flowing from your astral body. And last of all, where is all this happening? Look at it. Where are we communicating and discussing and showing all this? This is with reference to the physical plane. This is with reference to this physical body, right? And there you are. So this is the last aspect in this chain. And this is what happens, you see, day in and day out, right? So if you really want to see God, or you want to see the flow of this light of consciousness, it is right there in front of you. You see, one great sage, William Samuel, had said that paradise is right in front of your eyes, but do you have the eyes to see it? And what did he mean by this paradise? You see, it is the divine will acting on the divine intuition. This is your higher nature, and this never changes. You see, the divine will always acts on your divine intuition, and the view always appears in front of you. You see, this is the flow of the light of consciousness. This is your higher nature. This is your pure, changeless, true nature, and is the presence of God, right? And then what happens? Then come then is the flow of thoughts. After the flow of thoughts is the flow of feelings, right? And then after the flow of feelings, you know that it is all happening in this physical plane. So this is an absolutely beautiful example, right? We never actually think about this. You see, the thing is this, when you look at an ordinary human being, you see this is this physical body. And look at it and be honest to yourself. Only then you will realize what has actually been communicated in this second video. You see, you always spend your entire time, your entire awakened state with your emotions, right? We always are pursuing our feelings, our desires. That is why the astral body is 60 centimeters and it is just next to you. After the etheric body is the astral body. Look at the thoughts. You see, the thoughts are made up of a much finer material. The thoughts just seem to come and go, isn't it? We don't pay much attention actually to the thoughts as we do to our feelings, as we do to our emotions. And basically, this is all changing. You see, physically you are changing, you are growing by the second. Your feelings are changing all the time. Your thoughts are changing all the time. And that is, you see, in this changing aspect of our lower nature is where basically where we spend our whole life. And we never look at the higher nature, right? You never look at this Buddhic body or your intuitive body or the body of a divine intuition. And you never look at your body of spirit because you see, unless you are conscious of something, and where does the consciousness flow from? It flows from your body of spirit and your body of intuition. When the divine will from the body of spirit acts on this divine intuition, only then intuitively does this world of images, does this view actually appear in front of you. It is so silent, it is so subtle, it doesn't actually say anything, but it's right there. Right? I have given you this exercise and you can try this as much as you want, and I can guarantee you that always when you try, always when you reflect upon this, you will find that this exercise is actually correct. And this is your higher changeless nature, right? This is what the reality is. So with this, I will bring this video to a close. I do hope that this has actually helped you to realize your true nature and to assist you in living in a state of unconditional, absolute happiness. Thank you very much. I'm really thankful to you from the core of my heart. You know, my spiritual heart, which is actually right here in the etheric body. And I hope that this video will assist you in your journey to leading a more peaceful, a more calm, and a life of unconditional happiness and love for everyone. Thank you. Namaskar.